Hello, it's Bori. For those of you who don't know me or who haven't watched any of my other channels, I'm 64 years of age, and just when I was about 60, I had a lot of problems, most of which most 60-year-olds will have, but I had even worse problems. I had metabolic syndrome, which included high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and full-blown diabetes. Now, I've addressed all that. If you want to know what I did, which is fairly simple, but it was consistent, it took about 18 months, you can watch the other videos on this channel. But today, I want to just take you through 4 simple things you can do, because your situation may not be as bad as mine was when I just turned 60. I want to take you through 4 simple things you can do. They are low-hanging fruit, I call them, that will knock off almost 15 years of your age if you are over 50 or even 60. And they're very simple, really. 4 things. Firstly, we'll start from the top. Make sure you are not stooping down. Make sure your jawline is almost parallel to the floor, particularly when you're out walking. So instead of having your jawline pointing right down, have your jawline parallel to the floor. Now, this may feel unnatural when you first start to do it, but what it does is it lifts your gaze, and that will absolutely make a difference to how you look. Okay, so as you do that, the other thing I urge you to do, simultaneously have a little bit of a smile. Not an artificial smile, just have a little bit of a smile to relax your facial muscles. Now again, this may not feel natural because most of us, if you are over 50, let's say you've been out there and you've been working, going through life, the likelihood is you've seen so many issues, so many problems that we've forgotten how to smile. And because we've forgotten how to smile, our default, our facial muscles, the default is to look as if we're frowning, even if we're actually not frowning. And I caught myself doing this so many times. So what I tend to do is, when I wake up in the morning, or even when I go for a walk, I just try to relax my facial muscles and try to smile. And this you may think it's silly, it's not. So you raise your face a little bit, make sure your jawline is parallel to the floor, and then have a little bit of a smile, a very tiny smile, like that, instead of which we mostly do. And honestly, if you simultaneously do that, you lift your gaze a little bit, and then you wear a smile, and your eyes should not be looking at the floor. Your eyes should be looking at a bit further on, maybe 100 yards ahead. And I normally even line it up to, if there are trees ahead of me, I line it up to the canopy of the trees. And you do that simultaneously. And the next thing you do is, do not let your arms move forward. We are all anterior tilted. In other words, we tend to have our shoulders look like that. I'm pinching something in the background. Now, by just doing that, I immediately create a more stable stature, and I make sure my shoulders stack up against my hips. So I create this very straight line. At the same time, I'm looking upwards a little bit, and at the same time, I'm wearing a smile, and I'm gazing further on. So a combination of those things. So let me repeat. You ensure your jawline is parallel to the floor, and you ensure you're wearing a little bit of a smile. Whilst I'm talking, it's quite difficult to do. And then at the same time, you gaze ahead, maybe 100 meters ahead. And the last thing, the next thing you do is you make sure your chest is out a little bit, and you make sure your shoulders, as though you're pinching something at the back between your shoulders, your shoulder blades. And if you do that all simultaneously, and then at the same time, you walk. Most of us, as we get older, we shuffle, we go like that. Now, that makes you look very old. What you need to do is to work with slightly longer strides. I'm not saying you should look like you are sprinting, but you should have at least 1.5 times the length of your normal strides. If you combine all this, it's a choreography, it's not easy to do. You will definitely knock off between 10 to 15 years of your age, because you suddenly look confident, You will have your jawline parallel to the floor, and you'll be smiling a little bit, and your gaze is over there, and your shoulders are like that, and you are working a little bit, and it looks like you've got purpose. Honestly, I guarantee you, if you do this, it'll be unnatural a little bit for the first 2-3 days. If you do this for a week, you'll be amazed. Even strangers will be smiling at you. Now, I honestly, when I tried to do this, I was amazed because a lot of people were looking at me smiling, and a lot of people ask me, so what do you do? And I'm thinking, well, I do exactly what I do normally. I've not changed jobs, I've not changed anything. But just because I changed these things together and I practiced them, it took me something like 20 days to bring them all together. The synchrony of them makes you look way confident. Even if people don't know you, they sense something. So these are the 4 things. Let me repeat. Firstly, you lift your jawline parallel to the floor. You wear a little bit of a smile, not too much, don't look silly. And then you gaze ahead, and then you move your shoulders back, and then you take longer strides. Only those 4 things. Try them for the next 21 days and let me know. Come back to this channel and let me know what you think. You'll be amazed, because for me it made a big difference, and I've also asked several people to do this, and they've told me some of them could not combine all 4, they just did 2 or 3 of them, like just lifting your gaze a little bit and then smiling, and they had a lot of feedback. So try them and let me know what you think. Let's go.